Hey mama, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, well, I get this question all the time, and I see this question all the time in a lot of the groups that I'm in. Why did you start homeschooling? And while I can give you my reasons as to why we decided to homeschool for our family, I think what I can give you that's of more value are 10 questions that you can ask yourself to figure out if homeschooling is right for you and your family. So get cozy, get comfy, and let's chat. If you are wondering whether or not homeschooling is the right fit for you and your family, you're probably doing a lot of searching right now. And a lot of that searching is probably external, right? You're looking on YouTube videos. Thanks for being here. You're searching in Facebook groups. You're asking maybe friends or family who've decided to homeschool. And I think that's all important. And that is a great step, right? You should definitely hear from other people because I think that it opens up our minds to what's possible. But I do think that you need to do some internal looking as well, right? Some internal searching and see, well, can this really work for me? Can this really work for our family? And so I have come up with 10 questions that I think would really be beneficial for you to just go over by yourself, with your spouse, and just get really clear on it, right? And use what you found on the outside and then use what you come up with on the inside to decide whether or not it is right for you and your family. Now, you may be a mama in business, and so some of these questions will really help you see, okay, can I do both? I mean, my answer to you is yes, you can. I know you can. I do it, and I teach my mamas in business how to create time and money simultaneously. And so what I choose to do at my time is homeschool my children. And so that's how I know that you can do it as well. You can have a profitable business, a business like mine that is our sole income. Both me and my husband work in this business, and we're still able to homeschool our children. And we live in Hawaii, the most expensive state in the country, and we're able to do it all. We're able to do it all. If you want more information on how I do that, I will link the video in the description below. But back to you and how you're gonna be able to do this as well. So let's get in. Question number one. Question number one is really simple. Why do I wanna homeschool? Why do we wanna homeschool? I can't answer that for you, right? You have to answer that. It may be an experience that you experienced yourself in school. It may be one that your child experienced if they are school age and are already in school. It may be something that you've seen around you. It may not have anything to do with public schools, and it may just be a personal choice. I homeschool for many reasons. One of them being connection. I really wanted to cultivate more connection with my children. Our oldest did go to school. He started kindergarten. And me and my husband were entrepreneurs, so we had a lot of time freedom, and we weren't working a traditional 9-to-5 day, and we had a lot of freedom in our day, and our son was kind of tied down in school. And so when the pandemic happened and it closed the school down and it forced us to, have our children at home with us, we realized that we could run our business and homeschool our children at the same time and do both of them in a way that they would both thrive. And so connection was definitely like the main driving force behind why we decided to homeschool, but also freedom, right? Having freedom to connect more. Freedom, flexibility, connection. I love watching my children grasp new concepts. And the first time I saw my son grasp something that I was teaching him, I was like, wow, I have been missing out. And the teacher's been living this. And maybe she's not enjoying it as much as I am because she's watching it happen with 20 kids each year. But I loved watching my son grasp a new concept for the first time. And that was just more momentum, right? More fuel to be yeah, this is why we want to do this. So why do you want to homeschool is question number one. Number two, we're kind of going to go to the flip side of that, right? Why wouldn't homeschool be for us? What thoughts are coming up? Because I think it's really important for you to see what comes up for me when I ask myself this, right? Because then you can look to those answers and overcome them, right? If I think that I'm not educated enough, if I think that I'm not disciplined enough, if I think most of what you're gonna come up with are gonna be society's expectations, and you're gonna see that. And those are limitations and beliefs that you probably don't have yourself, but you're being influenced from those outside opinions. And that's why I think it's important for you to ask yourself this question so that you can see, where do I feel like I'm coming up short? My child is coming up short. Our family is coming up short. Why do I think that it wouldn't work for us? And how can I actually solve that problem and come up with a solution so that it can work for us? So ask yourself the hard question. Why do I think homeschooling isn't for us? The third question is, how would homeschooling benefit my family? Right? We know why we want to do it, and now we're gonna overcome why we think we can't do it, but how would it benefit our family? How would having more time with our children benefit our family as a whole, right? So for us, traveling, right? We are, like I said, an entrepreneurial family, and so we already have the flexibility to come and go as we please, but we were really feeling bogged down because, yeah, we could pull our child out when he was in kindergarten for sure, maybe, right? You still kind of get those dirty looks well, you're gonna pull your son out for 2 weeks. I mean, right now we're going on a 3-week vacation, 2-week Disney cruise followed by 1 week in Australia. That would be the entire time that he would be allowed, and I say he, but I have 2 school-age children now. That would be the entire time that they're allowed to miss school. And then what happens when they're sick or we want to take a different trip, or right? So how would it benefit your family, the values that you actually hold high, right? How would homeschooling further those values, further the lifestyle that you want to create for your family? Number 4 is, what needs to change, right? What would need to change for us to homeschool? And again, that's really looking just at bigger picture. Maybe it's a scheduling conflict that you're having. Maybe it's help conflict that you're having. So when you're able to see what needs to change, then number 5 is asking yourself, can we actually endure those changes, right? Can we make the scheduling work? Can we ask for help, whether it is from a family member, a babysitter, a tutor, whatever that looks like? So now you're knowing, okay, well, what needs to change? What needs to happen? And can we actually endure that change? Is that change actually possible for us to realize? Okay, question number 6 and question number 7, I'm going to do those combined. Question number 6 is, what do I actually believe the homeschool minimum requirements are? And number 7 is, do I have enough information on those homeschool minimum requirements to actually make an informed decision as to whether or not we can actually sustain that and we should homeschool, right? What you believe are the minimum requirements when you first start homeschooling is totally going to change as you dive in and start homeschooling, right? Because right now at the beginning, you are basing your information on the traditional school setting. And so you might think that minimum requirement is, I have to school my child from the hours of 8 to 3 because that is what traditional school hours are. Or I can only homeschool my child on Monday through Friday because that is the traditional school setting. But if that doesn't work for your schedule, then Saturday and Sunday are perfect days to homeschool, right? And homeschooling your children at home is completely different than schooling your children in school, where there are 20 other children competing for time and attention, and their needs are different. And so there's one teacher with 20 children. So yeah, it takes all day to do. But when you are homeschooling your children at home, you maybe need 3 hours, right? In the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening, whatever works for your schedule. But I tell you to ask yourself this because I want for you to see what comes up. Again, we can't solve for the problems that we think we have if we don't know what problems there are, right? So first, ask yourself, what do I think it requires of me to homeschool my children? And then once you have those answers, question number 7 is, do I actually have enough information to know that that's what's required of me? And if you don't, then go search, right? Go on the YouTube channel, the blog posts, Pinterest, Facebook groups, friends and family, and ask them, hey, how do you school? Hey, I'm thinking that this is what it's gonna look like. Is this actually what it looks like for you and your family? Get to the root of the problem, right? What is it that I think is required of me to homeschool? Do I actually have enough information to think that that's true? And if I don't, where can I go to get that information? Who can I talk to? Who can I ask so that I am informed to make the decision for me and my family? Question number 8 is a good one, and we can ask ourselves this question about anything and everything in life. Will I look back and regret ever trying? Here's the thing, deciding to homeschool is not written in pen or permanent marker, right? You can change your mind. And it's not going to set your child back, even if you do it in the middle of the year and you're like, hey, let's try. And if it doesn't work, we'll put them back in school, right? Or vice versa. If they start school and then you decide to pull them out halfway through the year, like, it's okay. And so will you regret it if you don't try, right? Again, we say that about everything in life. We don't want to have regrets. And so you're not going to know until you try. I was very thankful that, I'm not going to say I was thankful for the pandemic. I was very thankful for the opportunity when the pandemic happened, because it forced us into it. And then we were able to see, oh, this is something that we can do, right? This is something that is not more than we thought it would be. And so my son never went back to school, and then we continued homeschooling his siblings. And it works for us, right? And if I hadn't tried, then I would never know how much we enjoy it and how much it has just blessed our family. So ask yourself, if I don't try, will I regret it? And if the answer is yes, and I don't want to live with regrets, then know that you can try it, and it won't harm your child, it won't do him any damage or hurt, and you can put them back into school if it doesn't work for you, and it'll be a-okay, except that you'll know that you tried and it didn't work. Number 9 is, will homeschooling further any of our family values and goals, right? For us, one of our biggest goals was moving to Hawaii. So 10 months ago, we lived in the state of Connecticut. Not having to conform to schedules and allowing me the freedom and flexibility to work on my business, but also have my children home and know that I could spend time with them during the week. Like, just all of the moving pieces of the way that our schedule worked, because we were a dual entrepreneurial family, I feel like homeschooling really poured into allowing this goal to happen. And it may seem like, wait, but you had your kids at home and you had to build a business around them, so wouldn't it have been better if they were in school? Like, maybe, but probably not. And at the end of the day, I wanted a business that would allow me to create time and money simultaneously, because I wanted to enjoy time with my children. That's why I started my business. So if I had them in school, I probably wouldn't have the business I have today with the time and the space to enjoy them and to homeschool them, right? And maybe I would have gotten used to having them in school and never tried to homeschool. And we can go down the what if list forever, right? But I know that homeschooling has allowed us to further our goal to move to Hawaii and further our family value of connection, further the environment and the atmosphere that I want to create in our home. And this last one is a really good one. What kind of support will you have if you do choose to homeschool? Raising a child takes a village. Homeschooling children takes like 3 villages. I'm not gonna lie. And there are moms who do it without a village, and so I commend them, I look up to them, I honor them. I know that for me, it takes a village, because while I love my children and I want connection and I want more time with them than I would have if they were at school, I also cannot spend 24/7 with my children. I just cannot. And so we really needed to look in to see what kind of support we could have so that we could get a break, so that we could have me time, so that I could work on the business that I needed to allow me to homeschool my children. So ask yourself, what kind of support do you have? Do you have family nearby? Do you have the means to hire a babysitter? Do you have co-ops and different like extracurricular activities that you can drop your children off to? Do you have space and time where you can create, where you can work on your business if you're a homeschooling mom, and if you're a mama in business, and if you're not a mama in business, do you have the space and the time so that you can just get a break and it's not just all on you? And if you are a mom who can do that, kudos to you again. But this is a question that you should ask yourself if you are somebody who knows that you are going to need a break, knowing that you're going to have that break and support built in before you even start. I think it encourages you to know, like, okay, we can do this. We have systems in place where I won't feel overwhelmed or burnt out because I know that my mom can take the kids on Friday afternoons, or I know that we can have a date night on every Saturday because we have a babysitter who comes, or I know that my husband doesn't work a traditional 9-to-5 job, so he can come home in the afternoon and he can have the kids while I work blah, 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 right? So ask yourself, what kind of support do you have? And is support an actual necessity for you to decide if you want to homeschool? Okay, Mama, those are the 10 questions that I have for you. And I think that it's important for you to ask yourself these questions so that you can figure out whether or not homeschooling is right for you and your family. For me and my family, it's just something that I wouldn't trade for the world. I really enjoy the time that we have, the opportunities that we can create, the connection that we are able to spend with one another, the lifestyle that we're able to build. It works for us, and I really, really enjoy it. That being said, that doesn't mean that it comes easy. That doesn't mean that there aren't struggles. That doesn't mean that there aren't off days. And I can link some videos below where I talk about the struggles of homeschooling so that, again, you can make an informed decision, because I think that you should know the whole picture and not just the beautiful picture that's shared on social media, showing all the highlights, right? I think it's important that we share the highlights because it allows us to really appreciate what we're creating, right? And see the good and not just like the chaos. But again, I think that you should know the whole picture, know the whole story so you can make an informed decision for yourself. So I will link those in the description below, and I will also share my latest video here for you. If this has been helpful, please subscribe to this channel and let me know in the comments below if you come to a decision and what that decision was. I'm cheering you on no matter what your decision is. And I will see you in the next video, Mama.